Welcome to Madison Square Garden. Tonight, the Rangers will start their playoff push. They are home actually, Larry, in the playoff series for the first time since 1996. With Larry Brooks, our Rangers beat writer and columnist, I'm Mark Hale as we preview the series here against the Senators. And Larry, one thing I thought was interesting is, look, Ottawa has beaten this team 3 out of the 4 times during the regular season. We just heard Paul McLean, the Senators coach, say, look, the regular season is totally different from the playoffs. Do you believe that as well, or is there something to take out of the fact that Ottawa took 3 out of 4?
I think you put aside the fact that the Rangers lost 3 out of 4. One of them was a shootout in October. But I think what the Rangers recognize from having played those games, regardless of the outcome of the games, is that Ottawa's a very talented team. And they're quick, they're strong on the puck, and they're the kind of team that can give the Rangers trouble. They're not an easy team to play against. They're very creative, and so the Rangers, whether they had won 4 in a row over Ottawa during the year or lost 4, are going to have to play well here. They're not going to get by playing badly.
What about the fact that we're in Madison Square Garden? We all know how legendary this building is. It can be very intimidating for an opponent to come in and play. Here's Ottawa. They won both games at the Garden this year. They won both games at the Garden last year. I think they've won 5 straight here overall. Does that a factor? Do you feel like they might not be as intimidated here?
The way I look at it is that home ice, there are some benefits to starting on the road in a playoff series, certainly in a best of 7, because if you can steal one of the first 2, the pressure then all reverts to the home team, to the team the higher seed, then to come back. It's very difficult to hold serve. And even if you do win the first 2, you've done nothing but hold serve. And then you need to go on the road and try and win one there. I think I think home ice advantage, and John Tortorella talks about this a lot, and I agree with him. I think home ice advantage is most important in a Game 7. I think starting at home, there's a lot more pressure, certainly in Game 1 to hold serve.
Right.
And then if you lose Game 1 at home, then suddenly the pressure mounts very, very early. It's interesting to note that last year the Bruins lost the first 2 games of their first-round series at home to Montreal, and of course they went on to win the Stanley Cup. So everything has to be kept in perspective, and I think that's, you hear players talk about it all the time, but it's true. You can build momentum through a series. You can lose momentum through a series, but the most important thing is to understand how to react to it and not overreact to winning a game or losing a game at any point in the series.
Larry, you talked about the Bruins winning it last year. They won it partially on the strength of Tim Thomas, their goaltender. Let's get to the Rangers goaltender here with Henrik Lundqvist. And you wrote in the Post that the biggest burden in the series is on Henrik Lundqvist. Explain what you mean.
Because Henrik Lundqvist has to carry the team. Henrik Lundqvist is their most valuable player. He could be the MVP of the league this year. It'll be he or Evgeny Malkin of Pittsburgh. But every weakness the Rangers have, he allows the Rangers to play the way they do. He allows the Rangers to spend time in their own end of the ice blocking shots. He allows them, they want to be a forecheck team. Obviously, they want to be a puck pressure team. They want to spend as much time as possible in the offensive zone. But sometimes the best laid plans don't go according to plan. And they are a team that spends a lot of time in their own end. They're generally comfortable in their own end because they can rely on Lundqvist to make every save. And the goaltending in the playoffs becomes even more important than it is in the regular season. They expect him to be at the top of his game. He expects himself to be at the top of his game. He's become the focus of a great amount of publicity over the last couple of weeks, national publicity that hockey players don't generally receive, and certainly no one on the Rangers has since Wayne Gretzky was here. So it's going to be an interesting challenge for Lundqvist, but I'm sure he's going to be up to it. I think he's going to have a big-time series, big-time playoffs.
Larry, what about John Tortorella here? This is a guy who obviously the Rangers have won more games in each of the years, in each successive year that he's been the coach of this team. He hasn't won a playoff series yet for the Rangers. How much pressure is on John Tortorella as we go into this game tonight?
I don't think there's pressure on Tortorella. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on the coaches here. I think it's important that Tortorella, like his players, not overreact to situations. That's probably the best way I would put it. Tortorella hasn't won a round since he won the Cup in 04 with Tampa Bay. So it's been a long time for him too, but I think that's more a function of the teams he's had and not the job he's done behind the bench. He knows how to coach. Paul McLean's a rookie head coach in the National Hockey League, but played for a long time in the NHL. Had a great deal of success. The most important thing is for Tortorella to practice what he preaches, and that is to remain consistent. To remain within himself the same way he wants the team to remain within himself, and not overreact if there's an early mistake or two. But I think the way he's coached in the playoffs here for the Rangers, he's pretty much done that, other than the unfortunate water bottle incident.
That's right.
In Washington.
Yes. Larry, in the post today, you have your matchups for this series. Give me a matchup, whether it's a player on player, whether it's a line, any aspect that you think is particularly compelling in this series.
Well, I think the compelling matchup is going to be the Rangers forecheckers, whoever are out, the Rangers forwards out against the Senators' Erik Karlsson, who was the league's leading scorer among defensemen. Mm-hmm. Probably the favorite to win the Norris Trophy. He loves to move the puck up the ice. He loves to skate with the puck. The Rangers have to get the puck in on his side and play the body and hem him in. If they allow Karlsson to control the game, they'll be backpedaling the entire way. They have to go forward against Karlsson. And in fact, the game plan is to go forward the entire night.
Right.
But they cannot give Ottawa the time and space through the neutral zone to make plays, because they have the creativity and speed to pick any team apart, and certainly the Rangers, where they can't get caught in between. They either have to get it in and go to work, or recognizing that they can't get it in, fall back into some sort of a neutral zone trap and take away Karlsson's passing lanes. They have to attack Karlsson right from the start.
And Larry, for our viewers here, give them a player on this Rangers team that you think needs to elevate his performance in order for this team to achieve where it wants to go.
Well, I think Brandon Dubinsky has to elevate his performance from the regular season. It's important, but Dubinsky has been a very good playoff player for the Rangers. I would be surprised if Dubinsky doesn't elevate his game. It'll be very important for the first defense pair to play well. They'll get a lot of minutes against Jason Spezza, their first-line center, is an extremely creative player. He's an upper echelon player, and the Rangers will have McDonough and Girardi out against him just about every shift. The second defense pair is going to have a handful with Kyle Turris, who's extremely fast, a great skater, and drives to the net. And the players who are the Rangers' best players have to be their best players. Now, you can't win a Stanley Cup without contributions from everybody, but you can't win without contributions from your best players. Mm-hmm. And so the Rangers are going to need big performances from Marian Gaborik and Brad Richards. Gaborik especially. Gaborik scored a number of huge goals for the Rangers this year, as did Richards. And when a team's top player scores big goals, that elevates everybody on the team. And so Gaborik and Richards are going to have to be the Rangers' best forwards.
Last thing for you, Larry. Give us the prediction and tell us why.
Well, I like the Rangers in 6. I think they have the ability to win in fewer games. I think they have an edge in goal. I like the way they're built. I like the way they play, their style of play. Basically, they've been playing playoff hockey from the start. They're a grinding team. They block shots. They sacrifice their body. The question for the Rangers is, since they play that way all year, can they elevate that game when it becomes so much quicker and everybody else is doing it at the same time? I think you have to allow for Ottawa's talent, give them a game or two, but I don't think the Rangers should lose more than twice in the series.
All right, we'll see how things go. Obviously tonight at the Garden, just a few hours away, 7 o'clock, Rangers and Senators will face off, start the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. For Larry, I'm Mark.